Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
People, I had myself muted. Apologies, people. Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Good evening to those of you in the UK. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night. I hope I've covered everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic Friday, wherever you guys are. Hope you've all had an even better week. Hope you all have an even better time in however long we're here live streaming, people. One love to the Twitch gang. Make sure you're following and subscribing. I can't lie, you lot are my favorites, but also make sure you're doing that on YouTube as well. Deluded Gooner also. Tomorrow, exclusive to YouTube, I'm going to do a watch along for Chelsea versus Manchester City, and I'm also going to have for the Twitch gang as well, be back at 3:30. I'm going to have my guy Fuad, who unfortunately is a Spurs fan, but is a sound dude. I'll get his perspective from a Spurs perspective. So yeah, obviously we're going to preview the Arsenal versus Tottenham game. I've seen obviously in the last couple of minutes or hours or whatever, we've been linked once again with Anthony Martial. Wonderful player. Whether it happens, I don't know. Would love him at Arsenal Football Club, but we'll get into that. So yeah, man, I thought let me just start warm you lot up before my guest gets here, people. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well and safe. I hope everyone's in good spirits. Jarvis, you're right. It is that time again, man. It is that time. So I'm going to jump straight into this Martial thing, people, very quickly. Hopefully there's no issues where this is concerned with sharing my screen. As you lot know, Ikrem Kuner, who is a journalist primarily out of Turkey. I know football is global, but you do have to wonder, French international located in Manchester, being linked with 2 English clubs. Where's the domino that he gets his information from? I don't know. Such is football. But he said for the January transfer window, we are expecting Anthony Martial war in North London. Both Spurs and Arsenal are planning to make offers for him. Now, obviously, both teams have been consistently linked with him. I would have preferred him instead of Hendrik Mkhitaryan. Now, Martial, there's still a lot of potential, but you either live or die by that word. For me, it's looking like he probably needs to change situation. He still has a future, but he can still play at United and he still has a future in the game. But United have a lot of attackers. Ronaldo's going to be there a couple of years. You've still got Rashford, who plays off the left, yes, but can play up front. You've got Greenwood, and Martial is one of those players, with the exception of playing in the 10, he can play them front 3 positions, innit? So again, game time is limited. You throw in Ronaldo, Cavani as well, and it's just about taking your chances. He looks like the situation needs to change. I haven't really seen consistent development. We know Anthony Martial's got a bags of potential. He's a strong runner with a ball. He can score goals. There's still a lot of definement to do. For years, we've kind of been hanging on this sort of thing. I don't know if you're a left winger or a striker. I don't think he's good enough with his back to goal, and I do think he's hot and cold. But as an Arsenal fan, I'd be on it, man. I'd be on it. If we could work with him, there's still a tune out of him, man. He's still in his mid-20s. There's something there. I don't think the tag has helped him of, Ballon d'Or clauses in his contract and the price tag. Personally, I think his potential hasn't helped him in the buzz. People get excited with that. And I think when you look at his career, it's only at Man United he's really looked to find his feet. He went through Lyon, barely scratched the surface at Lyon, went to Monaco, was a young guy, but you're forgetting Monaco them times was trying to do the Galactico thing, so they bought him. Then he went to Man United. I mean, he didn't really have the most solid of foundations, and I don't think he's been worked with at United. That being said, he's played sufficiently, and at best, he just, as an outsider looking in, is hot and cold. But I would take him. He can play up front. He can play on the left. Lacazette isn't going to be here forever. Neither is Aubameyang. I don't know if Balogun's going to be able to prove that he's ready and levels to be part of this first team on a long-term basis. Eddie Nketiah looks like he's leaving. For me, to have Martial, Martinelli, seeing what Balogun can bring to the table, I'd be on it. Now, obviously, I would probably want another striker if we're getting Martial. And again, I'd probably play him off that left-hand side, if I'm honest with you, because I just don't think he's good enough with his back to goal. But he could learn people, and there's potential there. In keeping up the theme with that as well, people. Obviously, one sec, I need to invite my guest as well. Sorry, folks, temporary stop there. Sorry, back here, back to we go. Obviously, depending on what you read, again, Manchester United, Martial in the sights of Arsenal and Tottenham. According to Ikram Kunna, Arsenal and Tottenham are ready for a concrete offer from Martial in January. About a month ago, as you don't know, the summer window ended. And, we're going to get linked with a bunch of players. Any player that isn't getting quite first team football at whatever club they're at or playing, or their situation becomes unclear, they're going to get linked with moves. It's like us, whoever, all the players that aren't playing at Arsenal, they're going to get linked with moves again. The same goes at every other club. So there are going to be a bit of these rumours. But according to the journalist in question, there's concrete interest from both London clubs, North London specifically. So whether that will develop into anything, people, time will tell. But yeah, for what it's worth, I'd be open to taking Anthony Martial at Arsenal, to be fair with you. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. Let me make my timestamp. Where we at? We're at, let's just call it 7 minutes. Martial rumors. Yeah, that's us sorted, people. Please make sure you're following. I think our guest is in the building now, thankfully. What's going on here? It's not letting me bring him in. What's going on? Oh, here we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, bruv. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're Kushti, man. What you saying, bro?
Lovely. Nice to be on, man. Nice to be on.
Wonderful to have you, man. It's been a long time coming, man. Normally, I know you're supposed to introduce your guests, but I always get my guests to introduce themselves. It's better it comes out the horse's mouth, man. Hopefully this is the first of many, but let them know, you are on that.
Yeah, it's Giles at Gramondi Tweets. I've had so many accounts down the years. I've been locked off by Twitter so many times for copyright things. So the people have known me as Rambling, Gooner, bare names. I've had like 3 different guises of Gramondi Tweets in the last 2 years. So it is what it is. It's great to be on. I've been watching your podcast for the longest. You get me? So
I
it's an
appreciate
honor.
that, man. No, man, it's an honor to have you. Like I said, man, obviously I've only known you through social media, but I like your chat and I just get a good vibe from you. And that's fundamentally what I want in it. Like, I know there's no agendas. It's just ball talk. Obviously, I was talking about Martial, so I might as well kick it off. Like, what do you make of Martial? And he's been linked with Arsenal. We both know it's probably WAS, but would you entertain it if it was concrete?
I would start by saying, I don't know about Martial's mindset. I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't know what's going on in his life, but I get the impression he's not in love with the game.
Swear, what do you mean by that for people that don't know? I think I know what you're talking about, but for
I just don't think he enjoys. Maybe he's not enjoying his time at Man United or something personal going on in his life. But I don't get that feeling, that impression that he enjoys the game. Like you look at Rashford or you look at Greenwood or you look at Fernandes or whoever, that you can see they have that intensity. But with him, maybe it's just, maybe you might just have a resting bitch face and he just looks like, I don't know. Some people have that kind of face.
Some people are just vexing it. Some people just look like that.
Just and he might love it. But for me, I just get the impression he doesn't. And he's not enjoying himself. So he probably does need to step out of there. Whether he's a fit for Arsenal, a few years ago, I would have said yes. Right now, boy.
So what's changed from you apart from mentality then? Because it can't be ability, surely.
No, I just think he hasn't fulfilled the promise that he showed when he was at Monaco and when he first turned up at United. He hasn't progressed. He really hasn't pushed on, and I think he's stagnated. And I don't know if he's the kind of, he probably does need a club like Arsenal, where he can sort of like, get back on them, get his mojo back, and progress. But do we have time in our transitional period for that?
We've already got too much man like that. So we've
already got too much. D. We've already got too many guys like that.
And you got more, and you got not to make this about Arteta, but we're already sitting there and saying what's going on with this guy, Saliba, the strikers, Martinelli. We're just gonna add more guys to it, really and truly.
Exactly. I would rather get a proven striker or somebody that is on the way up. His stock is rising. Do you get me?
Like I'd rather spend a piece on Kareem Adeyemi, even though it's probably that bolt's probably
he's young, but you can tell that, you know what I mean. He's striving, isn't he? He's on an upward trend. Do you know what I mean? There's loads of them. Like, I don't know how much United would want for him, but I would rather use that money and a bit more and say there's a number of players that have been we've been linked to. Vlahovic, Isak, as you said,
all
Adeyemi.
Guys,
all these guys, they're all on the upward trajectory. Their stock is on the rise. Yeah. I don't think we need to go with Martial. He probably needs a club like Arsenal, but I don't think we're in a position where we need him.
That's the thing. It's like, don't get twisted. I probably would take him. I think he's got ability if Lacazette goes. But it's like, if I'm looking at a striker right now, like the names you said, I kind of want a man that within the next, if it's not instantly 12 months, you're going to be the number one.
Yeah.
You're going to be, I keep saying 20 league goal, but obviously you probably need to score more. The same way when you look at Leicester, you look at Vardy, previously Aubameyang. If we're not bringing in a striker of that ilk, then it's just more mix and match, because Eddie Nketiah might stay, he might go, but we don't know what's happening there. We don't know where Balogun's concerned. We don't really know where Martinelli is seen with Arteta, because he played him off the right. I think he could be a striker / off the left, but he doesn't play there. And it's like it's even like what my man here said. What is Martial's best position? Because if he comes here, I'm screaming probably left wing, but you probably want to play him through the middle.
What is he now? Is he 25 going on 26? I don't know. What
he's in
mid. Sort of so he's prime age now. We should be knowing what your position is. You're not pre-prime. You're not on a come up. This is your prime years. You should have established what position you are now, I feel. And we're still talking like he's on a come up. He's not on a come up.
Like George said, 25, 26 in December. So
there you go.
Give or take, you should be coming into the peak right now, and we should know, are you a striker that can play off the left or a winger that can play in the middle? So you said a great thing there.
And the thing is, when we took Lacazette, there was that question of, what kind of striker is he? And we've never really found the role for him. We've never really looked convincing in any kind of role. Do you know what I mean?
Why do you think that is?
I just think, I think
this guy got sold dreams with Lacazette.
Yeah. I was sold a dream because I liked him as well. I was all in. I was all up for the Lacazette thing. Sorry, D. Hold on a second. Sorry. Right, look, downstairs.
It's real life.
Go downstairs.
He's there with his kids.
Sorry, guys.
No, this is DG Nation. Everyone's probably on the same ish. People are probably listening, telling their kids to calm down, man. This is real life, man. So yeah, obviously he'll come back and offer his opinions on Lacazette. But yeah, people, he's back.
I'm back.
He's back. Yeah, man. You were speaking about Lacazette and your opinions on him in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah. Sorry. I think like you said, sold a dream. I probably was sold a dream. I fell for it. I fell into that. Trust me. When we were linked to him 2 years before he come.
Yeah,
then remember, he nearly went to West Ham. I was going out of my mind. Like, what are we doing? Then he finally come. I was like, yeah, boom, this is it. And then 30, and then just over time, he's not developed to be the player that I thought he was. He's not as quick as I thought he was.
Charles, I think he's lost some pace since he's come.
Yeah,
but I agree.
He's not as quick as I thought he was. I've always known he's a deep, like he strike. Most of his strikes come from not in the penalty area, but around that 12-yard box, maybe further out. He's not a high shot volume guy, but he's clinical. That's what I thought, but that's not really translating. It's not translating enough for us to be where we need to be. And so we got to the point now he's going on 30 and he's looking like he's 33. Do you know what I mean? He looks like he's carrying a bit of timber. And it's about, we've got to that point where he should have gone last season, but he can't go on. He can't go on beyond this season, and we need somebody to replace him. And we need to get somebody that we know exactly what he is. So whether it's scouting, video analysis, do you know what I mean, finding out the person's mental state or whatever the process is for scouting and signing the strike, we need to make sure that is a down pat and we get exactly what we need.
But that's what scares me, bro. That's what scares me, is because it's like, we know Lacazette's got into the last couple months, but it's like I genuinely look at Arsenal and it's only like, okay, now we might need to look for a striker because he's leaving, rather than a couple years ago. Just like with Aubameyang signing that new deal, I don't know for true, and obviously there's been changes, but I would have imagined when he signed that deal, we know who we're getting in the next 2-3 years. We know who is going to take over because he's not going to be here forever. Do you feel we overcompensate as Arsenal fans for Lacazette? Because I feel I'm guilty of it and I had to sit and wait. When we sit here and say he works hard, he's creative, he drops deep. Is it fundamentally because we never got the Lacazette we thought we was grabbing, or a lack of goals or whatever?
I think it's all of the above, D.
Swear.
I think it's all of the above.
It's true,
I think it's all of the above. He's not what we thought we were. We thought he was. He does work hard. And I think if you're going to use that kind of striker, you need players that are going to run in beyond. Obviously, Aubameyang does run in beyond, but is he most effective on the? He might be most effective on the left. I don't know, but we need at least one, at least two strikers or two players that run on beyond. We don't have any midfielders that run beyond because Laka likes to come to the
Bruno
ball.
or nothing.
We don't have a Bruno. We've lost the Ramsey. Do you know what I mean? We don't have any of those players that run in behind. Laka likes to come short. He likes to come deep and get involved in the play and then set people off and whatnot. Yeah. So, and if you're marking out, if you've got Aubameyang marked out of the game, who else is going to do that? Who else are we going to? Do you know what I mean? That's the thing with Harry Kane now. He's changed his game a bit where he now drops off and he comes deep now, doesn't he? But Son runs in behind. Bergwijn runs in behind. Lucas is ready to run in behind. So they've got players like that. We're wondering, wow, Kane's lost pace, rare. He's changing up his game. But the way Tottenham are playing is we've got Son, we've got Bergwijn.
Can make up where they left, where he leaves off.
Do you know what I mean? We don't have that really. Do you know what I mean? But in answer to your question, he just wasn't what was advertised.
Was you ever, obviously it's probably gone quiet, but such is life, he's probably will go through a purple patch of form. Will you entertain a new deal of any sort?
No.
Or is it just, you've answered it there.
I love the guy.
Shut it down.
I love the guy, but his time is done and you have to recognize when the time is done. Do you know what I mean? Let's not extend it. Let's not, you know what I mean?
No sentiment in it.
There's no sentiment. Move on. We're in a period of transition. I get it, but we need to be stocking up with players that are on the up. Do you know what I mean? That can take us forward. He's reached his ceiling. He's not going to get any better.
With us, he's gone as far as he can, innit?
He's gone and he's on the decline. You said he's lost his pace. Whatever pace he had, he's lost it. So, and he's not. You know what I mean? It's time to go.
It's true, man. We can't. What we spoke on Lacazette. We can't speak on Lacazette and not mention, the big man Aubameyang. Where you at with him, man? Where do you man? Same sort of questions. Where you at with him? Where the hell do you think it's gone wrong?
I was a big time advocate for that signing, for that extension.
I was gassed, bro. Everyone was.
Properly. It made sense. It just made sense at the time.
We needed him, bro. He's our talisman.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know what happened last season. Apparently a myriad of things, family, illnesses, going away on international duty. Who knows? There's a myriad of things that he kind of dropped off shape. And I then wondered, you listen to people, podcasts, you listen to, you read write-ups and you start formulating opinions and that. And, the one overriding opinion was for me, what seemed that I seemed to notice was, is he on a downward climb? Is he on a downward trend? Sort of, is he declining? He's 32, is he coming to the end of his shelf life? I don't know if he is or not. That season, last season, could have been a blip, could have been an anomaly. You know what I mean? We need to see if he's got his mojo back. I was listening to Arteta today, and he said that what happened in the Tottenham game last season when he dropped him for being like, all that shit's behind him now.
I hope so.
We hope so. It's got to be, hasn't it, D? And so I'm waiting to see. I'm hoping to see the old Aubameyang. He's looked sharp this season, even though he hasn't really. Do you know what I mean? He's looked sharp in games. He's looked enthusiastic. He looks like he's his old self again. Do you know what I mean? So we need now to get him in position. But yeah, the new contract in hindsight, it's arguable. You know what I mean?
I mean, everyone's a genius in hindsight. People can mock us, but I still stand by it. I think it was the right decision to give him it. We'd be worse without him. Let me ask you this as well. It's like, where you at with it? Is it the system? Is it Arteta in him? Because I feel on one hand, I feel it's a system thing because I feel I've seen Lacazette up there. I saw Balogun thrown in at the deep end against Brentford. I see Aubameyang there. There's no service. There's nothing going on. And not a single attacking player really is thriving. So is that down to the gaffer then? But at the same time, is it down to Aubameyang? Like you said, he could be declining. And if he is declining, surely we should have factored this in that he is declining because I know he's not Ronaldo, but Ronaldo's declined. He's not the same man 5 years ago, but you can get a tune out of him. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's nice
What-
to bounce this off someone because I
Yeah,
don't
I
know,
don't
man.
know myself. It could be all those things, D. It could be a lot of people going on about a tether ball and the way go to position or whatever, positional bigger game and this and that and it could be anyway. You know what? I went to the game, the Wimbledon game the other night, and what I noticed is we get to a certain point in the field just before the final third,
we're
and
baffled,
then
innit?
things break. Yeah. And then things break down. Otherwise, whether it's a bad touch or one touch too many, or do you know what I mean, indecision against Burnley. I think I put out a tweet with a video where we had there was 5 examples
There was
of
bare
us
of them. Smith Rowe had one, Pepe
yeah,
had one. There was enough of
you
them
know,
against
nothing.
them.
Where we get to a certain point just before that zone, and then decision making's off, or the pass is off, or the touch is too heavy, or do you know what I mean, or it's just not clean. It's not clinical, and I don't know whether that's him telling them what positions they need to be in, and they're not understanding it, or whether it's just a personnel thing. I can't work it out yet, D. What do you think?
That's what scares me. I don't know. The more it goes on, I'm starting to think, all right, cool. Whether it's an Arteta thing or him, we just need to find someone else because at some point we've got to move away from being detectives and whatever. I think it's more the system because maybe it's the romance in me and the Wenger in me and whatnot. But I just think you don't lose quality in it, or it don't just rob you overnight. What we saw last season. So I do think it's a confidence thing. I'm not gonna lie. These last 2 games, though, I agree with what you're saying. He's been moving sharp, but it's like, I don't know. It's like he's snatching at chances, or snatching ain't the right word. There's been at least 2 incidences where he's tried to score a worldie. Like there was one against Norwich where he's hit it first time. He tried to beat Thierry Henry. Obviously, he's not. And he done something similar against Burnley. And I'm thinking, what's going on? The last 2 games, there's been a smile on his face, but there's been times, and I'm sure you've seen it, he looks vexed.
You know what? You bought ball, innit? You bought ball on Saturdays on Sunday. I've seen you, but I know you bought ball. You're a midfield dynamo. I've seen you. Seen that goal that you scored going on like
I wish, man.
you're
Humble
brand new.
fullback.
I mean, you're going like you're brand new. I've seen that video going
I wish,
around.
man. The camera makes you look good, bro.
but when you're in that position, right? You've had a few bad games. You either go into your shell or you want to try and show that you still got it, haven't you? And him taking that first time shot or whatever it was,
Trying to think.
he's trying to ting. He's trying to show. Maybe trying to prove to himself or whatever that I'm still over. Do you know what I mean?
I've still got it in me.
You know, I've still got it. And
Strikers are weird like that. You're right.
you know what I mean? That's you know what I mean. They are weird like that. They you know what I mean. They need to prove to themselves as well as their teammates, as well as the fans that have still got it. So maybe him trying to take those opportunities and snatching at it is just him trying to. You could say he's forcing it.
That's what I'm getting. It's like it's not
Yeah.
natural, but like you said it, when you're confident, these things happen. But it's like it's a bit of forcing it. But then I'm just looking at it. I can't lie. I think it's just stupidity. Like obviously, I can't tell Bamian nothing about football, but you're watching the game and you just know it's not gonna bang. Like the angles against you, it's not like you're in form. It's just like what are you doing? Like so when I was going to games last season at times or whenever, there was times like he genuinely just looked like poison. Like I don't really want to be here. I'm quite upset. It's like it's not that I'm upset I don't want to be here. It's like I know these tactics are shagging me. Like I'm just running around like there's really nothing. Like I'm sure you remember a couple years ago, it might have been last year. He was like, I think we played City away, and he was vexed with Teeny in one incident. Sky Sports held in on it. And
Yeah. And he's not that anymore. He's definitely back on board. But I just think he needs. He scored one already this season, hasn't he?
I think he got
Is it
he
Norwich
technically
or
scored against Norwich. Ugly goal, but goals are goals, man.
goals a goal. Yeah, I mean, like I say,
And a
the
couple against
enthusiasm's
West
back.
Ham as well.
Yeah, the enthusiasm's back. So that's the start. Do you know what I mean? We just need him to score a typical Oba goal coming off his left and curl it on him with his right. Do you know what I mean? Then it will start flowing again. I think, he's probably snatching at it right now, or he's taking on shots that aren't where the angle and the percentage of accuracy or success is very low. But that's what strikers do, bro.
True, it's true.
He's done it down the years. He's shown down the years that I mean, you know, when he's on fleek, when everything is Chris.
It can
You know
happen,
what I mean?
innit? Yeah.
It can happen. So I don't know. I'd rather he try. I'm glad that he's in the positions. He's getting in the positions to take those chances, even if they're not coming off.
happening.
I'd rather he's in that position than not.
Do you know what? You said something and that's changed my mind. That's a great point. You know, I'd rather him trying these things, they're not working, than you just being a pussycat, pardon my language, and just it's not banging. So at what point, because this is the biggest question that I have with Aubameyang. At what point do we lock it off? Like, obviously, realistically, we're probably not going to deal with it in January, but at what point do you as a fan go, all right, cool, you know what? Whatever it is, we can't really carry Aubameyang anymore. I know he's our captain, we love the guy, etc. But at what point? I know it's difficult, and I'm not necessarily asking for like November or whatever, but at what point do you start thinking this ain't it, man?
Yeah, if he gets to December and he's not, I mean, it's another fallow period, or he's not really scoring, he's not really looking like scoring, then the powers that be have to sort of like somehow create, have to create some kind of money somewhere, do some kind of magic trick. Because trust me, if it's going left at Christmas for him, it's going left at Christmas for Arteta.
For all of us,
do you know what I mean? For all of us, bro. Do you know what I mean? So there has to be some kind of act. Whether that means buying somebody and keeping Aubameyang on till the end of the season, who cares? We just need to. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what scares me a bit with Arteta, bro. It's like when I move away from Aubameyang, it's like if you was to be given a certified striker, like you said, Vlahovic, Isaac, all these guys, are you going to get the best out of them? Because I really am disappointed with Arteta in an attacking sense. I know on one hand he hasn't got good players, but on the other hand, for me, it seems like a spoiled kid complaining they ain't got things when they got latest consoles and all of them. Because you got a 72 million man. Whatever we say about Laka, 52 million. You know, Aubameyang is Aubameyang. You got Odegaard. You know, these are players that some other teams that might be even doing better than us would probably take off our hands. So it's like, what do you make of him from a tactical point of view? Because I can't see it, man. I can force it, but I can't see it.
Yeah, I think it seems like striker position or attacking position is the final frontier for him, and he just can't get it right. It's just not setting into place. You know, he's done well with the defense. Or last season, or at some point, I think during the cut run, he done well with the defense.
He found stability.
Yeah, you know, and then he's added to that this summer, and it's looking promising. With the guy, it looks like we've actually got players that we need, and they can blend with each other in defense. In midfield, that's looking more promising. He's brought in some players and whatnot. And Odegaard, for me, brilliant signing. You know, but up front, none of them are his pieces, and I don't think he knows what to do with them. I don't think he can get the best out of them. You know, and to be honest, this is just a continuation of what happened with Emery. I don't think Emery knew how to. He didn't really want Pepe. Didn't know how to get the only person that was really bailing him out at the time was probably Aubameyang. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think. I just think that the personnel that we've got don't gel for some reason, for whatever reason. I was never really convinced with Aubameyang and Lacazette anyway. As a partnership, I just think.
Why is that? Because I want to carry on with what you say. I don't want to sidetrack you, but I want to ask you on that as well. Because I was going to ask you in relation to them two against Spurs, because I think they imbalance the team now as well.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely this is something that it seems to be Arteta's Achilles heel in terms of, you know, formulating a game plan that gets the best out of the attacking talent we've got. We've got over, like you've got over 150 million pounds worth of attacking talent.
These are not bad players, especially in the final third. Surely that's the easiest job, like getting the man to score, freedom.
Exactly. And maybe people will be saying maybe it's the rigidity of the system, this, you know, this positional play where, you know, there's a lack of flexibility. If you look at Tuchel, if something's not working, he'll change it up in game. Quickly. Do you know what I mean? 2 or 3 times, doesn't matter who it is or what it is, it's changing, and he'll elicit that out of whichever player he puts on there. We don't seem to see that with Arteta. Maybe he's too. Obviously, he's a disciple of Pep, and you know this Drago position thing is very. You know, I don't know. You're right. I think he's struggling, and he needs to find some sort of tactical flexibility to get the best out of him, because they're big boy players. You know what I mean? We can't say, oh yeah, it's not you know what I mean? It's not his team and rare. He's got to get the best out of them somehow. That's your job. You're the man. You're not even you're a manager. That's on you, bruv.
Like you said, I mean, I even feel whether he's bought the players or not. Obviously, he didn't sign everyone, but when you go through that squad, he's phased out Bearman, and Bearman are staying because he wants them. I know Kolasinac, Eddie, possibly even Laka, these guys couldn't be moved on.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, I think the mic out. But I'm saying the majority of these guys are his guys. It's like I don't really see things. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with the back five. I'm cutting him a bit of slack. I see TT at right back, in Ramsdale, in the centre halves. I see the building blocks. Don't know for midfield though, because I don't think
Mm.
we're going to see an elite defensive unit or a crazy attacking unit until he addresses that. Cool, he's put his faith in Xhaka. I feel there's Xhaka haters and then there's the apologists, and I think I'm in the middle where I don't think he's a terrible player. I just don't think he's good enough for what we want to do, and I see what Arteta demands from him. If you're betting on Xhaka to do that, there's an issue. I feel Partey and Xhaka's very hit and miss. There's some games it works, some games it doesn't. As we were speaking about on Twitter, I think Partey looks better when he's not with Xhaka. He looks like I'm the guy receiving it off the centre half, so I'm doing whatever. So it's like I'm concerned. I don't really see it. It sounds stupid, but I don't get the vibe of how we're trying to score a goal, because surely that's the whole basis of playing out from the back. Like, we need to know how we're getting it from Ramsdale up there.
And that's the thing that confuses me. I just don't know whether it's we just seem to break down up to a certain point in the field. Do you know what I mean? We get to a certain point and then it just goes awry. It just goes awry, and we look amateurish.
We can't even take a corner, bro.
We
like,
can't even take
no
a
one
corner.
at this club. I love Saka, but not even he can take a corner.
Yeah, no one can. You know, I don't understand it. I can't put my finger on it, and I can't say to people that are saying it's a system thing, it's an Arteta thing. I can't argue against that. I can't argue against that. You know, I can say I don't really think Pepe's consistent. You know, Lacazette isn't prolific. Aubameyang, is he up or down? I can say all those things, but also at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, the tactics that I'm seeing from these guys, there's a common denominator here. You know, so it's on Arteta. He's got to. Is he taking on board the information and the advice he's getting from him, from Stuyvenberg and round? Is that, you know, are they yes men, or are they challenging him in training session, in tactical sessions and meetings? Are they challenging him to say, look, we should be playing, should we try this, should we try that? Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? There seems to be. I listened to the Per Mertesacker interview today, and he says that everybody around
the Beautiful Game podcast,
beautiful, yeah, Dej and Dot and all them guys, brilliant podcast, and he was saying that everyone's behind him. The players that he talks to, they're behind him. The staff are behind him.
That's the vibe.
That's the vibe we get. So I don't know. Is it the tactics, or is it the personnel, or is it they just don't understand?
I think it's a mixture of it. It's everything you said. I don't think it's one thing. I think one thing with me with Arteta, I do think he tries to micromanage everything. And as a manager, I think you have to be humble with that. From Monday to Friday, you can work for everything, but Saturday, it could go. It's just messed up. And I think he doesn't have that. And I think, like we just spoke about with the final third, I think that kind of transpires to the final third. You got to take the handbrake off. You got to allow like your children to get in their own little fight or ride the bike and drop on the floor and get up themselves. I don't think he does that.
Yeah, because what I can see is Aubameyang's an instinctive striker, Pepe's an instinctive player. Do you know what I mean? You got to let them play to their natural abilities. You know what I mean? When you got players like that in the final third, they work it out. That's how. Do you know what I mean? Don't take that away from them. Look at their strength. Try and work with their strengths. Their strengths is, especially Pepe. His strength is being instinctive. Get him in the final third. Don't let him get back in deep midfield and ask him.
Would you say these are counter-attacking players as well? Because someone asked me this the other day and I didn't know. But when I
I don't know. I can't remember how Dortmund played under Klopp and Tuchel with Aubameyang, but they seem to get the ball into the final third very quickly, like back to front very quickly. So there could be they're counter-attacking managers, aren't they? They're gegenpressing managers. So their thing was get the ball, turnover, upfield quickly. So you could say that Aubameyang is that kind of player. Pepe definitely is that kind of player. When he was at Lille, they were do you know what I mean? It was through him, get him the ball in the kill zone, and once you got into the kill zone, you know, he'd finish it off. So yeah, you could say that they're counter-attacking players, and so therefore maybe what Arteta's trying to implement just doesn't, you know, it doesn't blend well with them. It doesn't mix chalk and cheese with them. I don't know. It's a good suggestion. Maybe that is the case. Do you know what I mean?
Because I think that, but then at the same time, I feel exactly what you keep. This is why I brought you on here, because you keep hitting the nail on the head when you're talking. You made a great point about instinctive movements. I just think you've got to allow these players, because we've all played football at some level. You know, your boy can make certain runs, or you're gonna make that run because you know he can find you, or he's gonna look. I don't think there's none of that, and I feel a big part of that was last season. What we had 38 games at 37 different lineups. Now, obviously, there's injuries, but there's no stability. Now we know the squad was probably different, but this is where I want to see the building blocks. Since we're talking about building blocks, where you at with the partnership of Gabriel and Ben White, and where you at with Ben White specifically? Because of every game he's worth 50 mil, he's not. It's going to be his life right now at Arsenal, sadly.
You're so right, bruv. You're so right. I think on paper it looks good, and I thought there was times on Saturday it looked good. You know, they both had defined roles. You know, Gabriel's definitely the strong man in defence, undisputed. He loves the challenge. He loves he loves the bout, innit? He loves that 1-to-1 bout. You know what I mean? He loves it. And then Ben White, I thought he did quite well defensively. I think they looked all right. He had one or two. He had one or two questionable moments, but hopefully it continues. It gets better. What I like also though is the fact that Tomiyasu was bought, in my eyes, to work with White. There's a natural kind of partnership there, where one covers for the other. You can tell. Do you know what I mean? I've watched Tomiyasu over a couple of seasons at Bologna. He is exactly the right type of right back.
He retired that brother, you know.
Bruv, there's more to come from him.
He does his job, man. For me, he just looked competent. Like we bought something and it works. Like
he's even surprised me in terms of his physicality, because I thought that it might take a bit of time. He looked, I mean, he wasn't used to that kind of physicality and the intensity of the Premier League. But on Saturday, he stood up. And you could see at the end of the game, the boys were going up to him. Arteta was going up. You know what I mean? Like the fans loved. Do you know what I mean? You know, he stood up, and you know, I'm so impressed with that partnership. And I think that unit there, from Tierney, Gabriel, White, and Tomiyasu, I think that is a well-constructed unit. I think it will be a well-constructed unit. The more games they play,
and the tough moments, they will have.
Yeah, I mean, the more understanding that they get with each other, where each other plays, who drops, who covers, who goes, you know, I mean, who presses and whatnot. That will develop, and then you got Ramsdale behind them, who I think is going to be I think he's going to be a brilliant signing.
What do you make of him as well? Because obviously I wasn't necessarily against it, but I like everyone. I'm not going to sit here and say when I like with Ben White. If you ask me centre back, I wasn't screaming Ben White, and I wasn't screaming Ramsdale. And I just felt obviously 30 mil is not the end of the world, but with Arsenal, he's either got to show that he's first choice, or someone's probably got to be sacked. He looks all right with the ball at his feet. He looks very vocal. He looks like he can catch, unlike Leno. Where you at with him? He's impressed me still.
You know what? For both those signings, my only real reservation was the prices, the price tags. I thought 50 was a bit excessive for Ben White.
Yeah, we got shagged for that. We got zanged. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I thought 24 for Ramsdale was a bit steep as well, I have to admit. But I wasn't concerned about his talent, because you know, I'd watched a few games, I'd followed a few football analyst accounts, goalkeeper analyst accounts, and they were saying, look, this guy's not as bad as you think. Okay, he's been relegated twice in a row. You know, he's played at AFC Wimbledon, who were in League Two, blah, blah, blah. But on each occasion, he was voted player of the season. Fans, players of the season. Now, you know, fans, if we're relegated, they ain't giving out many flowers. You're not getting flowers if you're relegated.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? You got to be playing. You got to be doing something to be a fan's player of the season.
Especially the goalie, because you're leaking everything in your net.
Okay, you could say he's the best of a bad bunch, but they were saying, you were reading what they were saying. They were saying this guy's got promise. He's a good player. He's talented. Do you know what I mean? Each and every flipping fan base that he played for. So, you know, and then I married that with what the analysts were saying. I'm like, well, okay, there's something about this kid. You know, so when people say, Ramsdale, don't get me wrong, I like Onana. Do you know what I mean? I would have loved Onana to come, even though he wasn't my first choice goalkeeper. But you know,
I think us Arsenal fans were doing what we do, where that guy they start putting a linked player on a level they're not necessarily with Onana.
You know, but I'm not disappointed that Ramsdale's come. Do you know what I mean? And there's so much. You know what? The thing is, there's so much about the goalkeeper position that we don't know.
That's it. People
we
think
don't know
easy.
about.
It's not. It's so psychological. Like you
know
said, there's things we don't know. My thing with Arsenal as well on the keepers that worried me with Ramsdale was, like you, I'm not against it. I was more positive when I was seeing the analytics and the retweets and this stuff. But my issue with Arsenal is finding good enough keepers. Even I think people disrespect Leno, but Leno at best is still questionable. My biggest thing was the progression, because I know people. We always talk about the goalkeeping coaches. We talk about their opinions. I don't really feel there's enough improvement. So for me, when you're bringing in keepers that aren't necessarily top draw and they need to improve, they're going to stagnate, because we've been here with Chesney, we've been here with enough keepers, and that's what scared me and still scares me, because really it's only been a couple of games.
It's only been a couple, and he's only 23. He's still a baby in terms of goalkeeper race. So he's going to have a period. He's going to
That's a
have
good
that
point as
period
well.
where he's going to go for that period where he's going to have poor games. He's going to have a run of poor games. You know what I mean? And we're going to get on his back. That's just the nature of fans and football. But I think he has the personality. He's been through enough fallow periods to, do you know what I mean? To get through it.
The bounce
I
back.
think,
And that's why I think the mentality is spot on.
yeah. And I think, you know what? They've done a really good job of scouting. I think on this occasion, this summer, the group of players that they brought in this summer, they've really, really nailed the scouting in
Yeah,
terms
I give
of,
them credit where due.
do you know what I mean? Profiles, personality, physical development, and aerobic fit. Do you know what I mean? They've really nailed it. You know, and what they've done, they've bought players that play now, but that will be around for 2 or 3 years time, and they will grow together. Do you know what I mean?
Resale
You know,
value in that as well.
resell,
And then
everything. It's bang on. It's spot on, and he's one of them. Like I said, it's still parts of his game that are weak. We haven't seen yet, like the long range 1-to-ones. I know that he's quite questionable on that. Do you know what I mean? Some of his decision making is a bit questionable. We'll see that over the course of the season. Once we play Tottenham, hopefully he starts at Tottenham. We'll start. You know, I mean,
learn
these
what
are the kind
man's
of
about
games
and that.
we'll learn what he's about. We'll really know what he's about. But so far, so good.
That's like, and it's for me. I mean, like, I'm no goalkeeping coach, but it's like I was questioning his ball playing. Like I said, it's like you've surprised me so much. There's been a couple of times you've been almost too casual in possession, and like all the keepers, I say keepers, all the like fans I was speaking to do the little vids about like getting an opinion on Ramsdale. I kept coming back to, yeah, he's a good keeper, he's all right, but he does make a mistake, or he does like do a little mistake 2 games in a row. So I've got that in the back of my head, and that's like you said with succession planning. It's all fun and games knowing where the player is now, but like you kind of said as well, I want to know where they're going tomorrow. And for me, I might be a bit weird, but when we sign a player, I like to know their weaknesses. Obviously, I don't watch YouTube to see their weaknesses, but I want to know their weaknesses because how they're going to improve. And that's what I hope Arsenal are doing, whether it's Ramsdale, Ben White, Tomiyasu, all these guys, just coach them out. Because even Gabriel, you might as well say he's a new signing. He's been here for a year and he ties into our unit. And what I like, because we spoke about earlier, if it goes tits up for Arteta, the next manager can't really come here like when Emre took over or Arteta and say, well, this guy is shaky, that guy. Fair enough, you might say, I don't want to use, I don't know, a Pepe or, you know, I don't feel this guy. But there's a good bunch of players there, especially for a young manager or that sort of type that we're going for now.
Exactly. There's a group of players that are emerging that are here, and it's all part of the philosophy, I suppose, AD's philosophy of the culture that he wants to bring into the club. Do you know what I mean? He's got the good boys coming through the academy, so they're saying one every other season hopefully makes it through to the
that's
first
one
team.
thing I've been very strong on when Glazida
I've
said
heard
that.
you. Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
can't
and
let him get away with that.
yeah, you know, and blend that in with the players that we've got now that are kind of just under prime age. Do you know what I mean? Our best younger players are all under Tierney, Odegaard. Hopefully Sambi will be in that group. Gabriel, Ben White, Tomiyasu, Saliba, if he comes back, hopefully, God willing, he comes back. Do you know what I mean? You know, all these players, they're gaining experience as well. Do you know what I mean? And as a group, they're developing hopefully in the next 2-3 years, because that's the kind of club we are now.
That's what we have
Do you
to
know what I
accept
mean?
that, and we need
We
to,
have to accept
we
that
take
we're a
heed of
club
that.
in transition. You know what I mean? And we've got hope that this group of players that we're bringing in now are going to be around for the next 3 or 4 seasons, and we'll see the benefit of that. This is my son, Alex. Alex, say hi.
So, hi, Alex, what you saying, man? Start
Off you
getting
go.
a part of the stardom as well. You're
I'm
gonna miss
telling you.
out, man.
Yeah.
Man.
So sorry, bro. Hold on.
Even the fans them are saying hey to Alex. Let me answer this question. We didn't exactly rake in the cash for the last gem we built up. What do we do if it fails again? Useless but United. I'll be real. If it fails, there's nothing smart I can say to you. If it fails, bro. We have to go again and try a next system. That's what, like, it goes wrong in business, innit? You have strategies. It goes wrong. Like we can only, there's nothing we can do if it goes wrong. Obviously, man have to get sacked for that if it goes wrong.
We've got to know when to sell.
Bro, that is the statement of this live stream for me. We gotta know when to sell. We don't know when to sell, though.
We don't.
We kill ourselves, fam.
You know what I mean?
We hold on.
Yeah, I mean, they're I'm sure the management are like, yeah, we got 25 million for William. That's brilliant. But Eddie Nketiah, love him or not, do you know what I mean? I feel sorry for him. He should have gone. furthered his career. We could have got money. We're not going to get any money for him now. The likelihood is he's gonna walk on a free. Do you know what I mean? You know, Kolasinac, this one, that one. But we're talking about the younger gen. We've got Maitland-Niles. We don't know. 1 minute he's going out the door. Next minute he's. Do you know what I mean? You know, when was the right moment to sell? Reece Nelson. That's another. Do you know what I mean? We haven't shown, like this guy saying, we haven't shown any kind of. They haven't shown us any reason to be. They haven't shown us any reason to sort of believe that they know what they're doing in terms of bringing through the next generation, whether it's bringing them through to the first team and giving them minutes, going on loan, or even selling them. We don't know. We're still in. For me, the jury's still out.
It's still out for all of them, bro. Everything's
you know
still out because there's not a base study. Because when I look at Arteta, big up Smith Rowe, he's number 10 in that. But just for Arteta, not Smith Rowe now, I only saw you bust him after you tried Willian in that 10 and you tried to put Lacazette there. So I don't think you really wanted to do that. Like you said, Maitland-Niles, he's flavour of the month. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. Saka's different because obviously Saka's an anomaly. He's a good player. With Saka, it's more, how are you taking him to the next level? Because again, he's still young, but I don't see someone that's necessarily improving in front of goals. And as I said, basic things like taking a corner. And even that ties into what we said about the system, bro. So if you can't improve them, man, there, and the system is failing, I can't really see where we're going with it.
And you know what? Going on to that Saka and ESR thing, they've signed new deals. You give them one this number 7 shirt, you give them the other a number 10 shirt. You said to them, you've thrown the things down to them. I want more production out of you two. You've got the big numbers on your back. We need more production out of you two. Do you know what I mean? So what are you going to do? What are you doing to help them be more productive? Because we know what they can do, but what they can't do or what they haven't shown right now is that execution in the final third.
That's it. Fact,
you know what I mean?
Simple as that.
I was arguing with a guy over the summer. He did a video showing like Saka's the moments where Saka was in on goal and he just messed up. And I was saying to the guy, kid's 19, rare, you know, you can't go easy on the guy. The good thing he's getting into position. The guy was saying, but he's got a number 7 shirt. And I was like, you know what? I had to say to myself, you know what? Whether that was whoever positioned him to get into that number, whether it's the agent or Saka or the club or whatever, the facts are people are going to expect you to deliver at some point.
You're not longer just God's child, little chilly, adorable guy.
You know what I mean?
Usually seen it. Fans don't love you like that.
Yeah, and it's incumbent on Arteta to get the best out of him. Do you know what I mean? So we're looking at the big picture where we're having struggles and issues putting the ball in the back of the net or even creating chances. But also on the small picture, we've got players like the established players aren't functioning well. We've got Saka who needs to who we're now expecting to get 10, 15 assists, 10, 15 goals and assists. Yeah.
Because if they're not here, what we expecting? Like that's what, obviously them man are young, but Saka and Smith Rowe, you got to aspire to be like that. Any credible attacker has to get them numbers. So like and as for me as well on that, it's like as much as like I said, we can both agree number 7, number 10, you got to do the business. But it's like when they're not doing the business, who is stepping in? It's like we're in that uncharted water now, that unfair ground. It's like their performance are correlated to winning, which ironically I say that it wasn't the case in our last 2 games, to be fair.
No. And also there's another point is, unfortunately, on the back of what I'm saying now, to even contradict what I'm saying, is the unfortunate thing is we're putting the pressure on. We're expecting the kids now to deliver where the oldest can't.
We're
not even looking at
and man are hiding behind these guys as well.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So on the one hand, I'm saying they have to deliver, but on the other hand, I'm thinking, well, is it really right that I'm expecting these kids to deliver when you've got £150 worth of man that are stuttering?
Well, man, that have been playing for their country, captaining countries, playing in big leagues, big appearances. There's no excuses, and it's like as much as for me, and you're right. It's like no matter how much we waffle on or try and sell ourselves the carrot of them man in the future becoming internationals, what you do today shows up tomorrow. If you want to go on holiday and have an expensive holiday in 2 years' time, you need to be saving peas from now so you can be nice, obviously. So it's like, how do the players of today help us? That's why it concerns me more when we're kind of what's going on with Lacazette, Aubameyang, this, you know, 1 minute Cedric and Kolasinac are back in the team, then they're out of it. And you know, as a fan, all the stuff we've been on, that's kind of what scares me, really. What do you make of you? I know you kind of touched on it earlier, but Odegaard, because I personally think, and I want to kind of ask you about the whole, I got to say his name, Madison, but it's like, fans were onto him unnecessarily when we're signing him. I understand the element of it being underwhelming because he was on loan, didn't really set the world alight. But I was for it, Carl. He's a good player. Like, I mean, he's that simple as that. Like,
he's a good player. People saying he's mid. Don't understand that. When he first come to the club, before his injury last season, he was showing and proving. Do you know what I mean? He was great. Do you remember the West Ham game?
Yeah. I
Did
mean,
you watch the player game?
How could you not?
Exactly.
I'd even say Leicester as well, but West Ham the flag bearer, being a leader in that as well.
That's what I'm saying. If you watch the fan cam or the player cam and you listen to him, he was taking that. He decided, I'm going to put this game on my shoulder. I'm going to put this team on my shoulder, and I'm going to drag them back. Do you know what I mean? He's a good bloody player. Before, and then he got. I think there was a Benfica game as well where he dragged it. Yeah, he made sure that we won that tie. Then he got injured on international duty, and he kind of dropped off shape a bit.
Yeah, he came back meaty. Yeah.
And people were saying, he's got 1 assist in how many? I don't even know what the stats were, but basically people were saying he's mid. Don't get me wrong, I like Maddison. I really liked Maddison. I think he's got personality. I like his chutzpah. I like the way he plays and whatnot. But what was nagging me in the back of my mind is that he had an injury, a recurrence last season of an injury, and he's not really kind of got back to where he was previously. And then there was this 70 million price tag, and I was like, wow, Odegaard's not. It's excessive. And the thing is, Odegaard, when he started at 60 million, he went down to 30 million by the end of the summer. To me, that made sense. Do you know what I mean? That just made sense from a monetary kind of point of view. The boy he's been through everything. He's been a child prodigy at 15. He's signed for Real Madrid. He's gone through a point where, at whatever age he went to Real Madrid. Remember, the team didn't like him. The squad didn't like him. We were thinking, who's this
pampered guy, innit?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? No one was really for him. He's gone out on loan to Holland, spun it up there, tore it up there, came back to, was it Real Sociedad, tore it up there. Do you know what I mean? Didn't get no love from Real Madrid. He's come out to Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? He's done his thing at Arsenal, and he's decided, I'm going back to Real Madrid, not getting any love. You know what? I want to play football. I want to go play football where I'm loved. He could have sat on his money. Do you know what I mean? He could have sat. He could have done
running down as well.
Yeah,
could have found a new one and just been a squad player there.
Do you know what I mean? But he's come to Arsenal with a point to prove. He's a leader. He's already he's already leading his country. Do you know what I mean? When he's on what I saw on Saturday, Arteta went with, like you said, Partey at the base, and then Odegaard was basically his partner, wasn't he? Whereas Smith Rowe was kind of going a bit forward. He was going a bit more advanced.
Ones and twos and that.
Odegaard was coming deep to collect possession, and he wasn't playing it out to Tierney. If you look at the passing maps, he was spraying it here, there, and everywhere. He was connecting
probably what he wants Xhaka to do when he's in front of Xhaka. Ironically,
exactly. But Xhaka's thing is, and this is why I picked up on your thing the other day. You were saying that with Xhaka, he's quite dominant. But the thing is, we know what he's going to do. He's going to spray it to Tierney. It's one-way traffic.
Everyone once in a year crossfield pass you might get, but it's Tierney every day, man.
It's Tierney every day. The pass might make it to Tierney, but the thing is, you know what he's going to do. On Saturday, I thought there was a bit more variety.
Facts. That's the word.
There was less predictability about what we were going to do. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I liked. He hardly played the ball. Like Odegaard to Tierney was not the most common pass.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
And it shouldn't be, man. That's the safe pass for me. Because why is Tierney getting it off for you 5 yards from now? The left back should be advancing, really. That's the only thing that Xhaka normally gives, is that he pulls over and Tierney goes faster. It's like, and it's for me, it's like with Xhaka, as you said, it's predictable. You know what he's going to do on it. You know that if you mark him, there's going to be problems. You know he's not really press resistant. I think Odegaard, he tries things. I just think things are done faster. Like for me, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
If things can be done in 2 touches, do it in 2 or 1. Don't do it in 5, blood. It's going to be dead.
And he puts a message on his passes. You know what I mean? How's your touch? He's always asking his mate, "How's your touch, bruv? I'm fizzing this into you. Boom, let's go." Do you know what I mean? He quickens. He can change tempo. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Can you bop? He changed the tempo of the game. Do you know what I mean? I just think, you know what? He's gonna get better. Thank goodness he had that settling in period 6 months ago, because now he's you know what I mean? He's looking settled. I wasn't expecting him to play for the DM and 2 in front. I wasn't expecting to play that against Burnley because I knew it was going to be a physical game. But they stood up. Odegaard stood up. He was counted. Do you know what I mean? Will he play that game? Will he play that kind of system against Tottenham? Debatable. People are expecting Xhaka to come back. Am I against Xhaka coming back? I wouldn't mind seeing Odegaard and Smith Rowe or Odegaard and Sambi. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't be surprised if Xhaka comes back because there's a stability. It's a big North London derby. You know, he knows what it is.
Just been sent off, so maybe he behaves himself.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But you wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he brought Xhaka back. I don't care if he. I don't care.
Let's get on to that. Like, let me ask you specifically as well. Where you at with that one there? Because, like you said, the midfield. I won't say perfect, but there's a positive cheer off Burnley. Where you at with the North London derby and that midfield then? Because that's where I said in my preview. That's the area we can't mess about in. Where you at? You bringing Xhaka back in?
Well, here's the thing. You know, Tottenham's probably going to be on Dembele, Højbjerg. Who's the third one? Dele Alli, innit?
Yeah,
Dele Alli's your legs. He's
might
the
get
box to box
somewhere or something.
He might get. But I think, barring any injury, those three are going to start. Yeah, Dembele's your baller. Højbjerg's going to sit in front of the defense and pick it off the defense. Dele Alli's your legs up and down. So you need to combat that. I think you need to do what Chelsea did: press them high and hard, get around them, nick the ball off of them, and then put them under stress. So you're on about
what
creating.
We did at the Emirates last year, really.
Yeah,
with Odegaard. Like, people won't give him credit for this. With Odegaard.
But also, wasn't Xhaka playing as well that day?
That's the maddest thing. And wasn't a bad man on the bench. It's crazy.
Do you know what I mean?
It's mad, fam.
So for me, it's not about whether Xhaka plays or doesn't play. It's just what's the game plan? Do you know what I mean? Let's get about him. Do you know what I mean? What
do you think it would be then?
In terms of what the
if you delve into Arteta's, man, because clearly you're doing what I would want to do, and probably everyone: be aggressive, be positive. Do you see Arteta? Where do you see Arteta? Do you see him thinking too much about Spurs? Do you see him even going to 3 at the back? Because obviously it's been 2 games and we've got a bit of stability. Where are you at with him? If you had to pick Arteta's team, what do you see him doing?
I think he's going to go with the same back 5 as in Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, the 2 centre backs, and Tierney if he's fit. And then sorry, man.
Nah, man, it's real. I love it personally. I fucking love it. Oh man.
And then he's going to go I think he's going to go man to man on the ball. So he's going to have the 3 at the back. He's going to have Tomiyasu, White, and Gabriel probably in the back. There's a back 3.
That narrow thing, yeah.
Yeah, because I think Tottenham will go Son, Kane, and not Lo Celso, because Lo Celso looked all out C against Tottenham against Chelsea. So he might go Brian Hill, who's quite tricky.
Give the young G a chance.
Yeah,
unpredictable in that.
Or if Bergwijn or Lucas are back, you'll go with that. Do you know what I mean? So we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to be front. I think he's gonna go with the same back 4 that he had, and then depends on the midfield and further up. But I just want energy. I just want energy.
Energy. That's it. That's all we got. We ain't like for me, when the summer window closed, all this Aouar, Guimaraes, Locatelli, when them shouts were dead, and I just looked at the squad we've got. I love Lokonga, but it's like Lokonga isn't going to be that number 8 I necessarily want. He's a great player. He's probably more the Thomas Partey. So let's just lock it down in midfield, like you said. Let's just be about energy. Let's see what Odegaard and Smith Rowe can do for us. Where do you see him going with the strikers? Do you go Smith Rowe off the left, or do you go Saka and Pepe?
Oh, D.
Because this is the wingers. Like the wingers that I saved it to kind of last, because I change it up all the time. This is why I asked it, man. You got
mate. Bruv, I don't know. It's a
proper head one, isn't it?
It's a proper head scratcher. I mean, some people, I've seen the arguments with Pepe. Should you drop Pepe for ESR, or
But then
Saka,
for me,
I don't know. I don't
I
know
don't
who he
know.
goes
I
with up
think for
front.
me, the one thing I do think I know is I'd probably go Saka on the right. I know that's the one I'm gonna go for. I probably will lean towards Pepe on the left because as much as Pepe might frustrate me or you or anyone, I need him to just get at Emerson Rowe. Like, welcome to the Prem vibes. Like, just get at him.
Fair
There's
point.
no
Fair
chance.
point.
And I think Smith Rowe's gonna drop. His game is not that. He's gonna give us something else. But I just want that threat because you've played ball. Obviously, as a fullback, if you're not being challenged, you're going to start going forward. At least if it's, I don't want it, and a Bamian out there or someone there, you're going to have to think twice because you don't want to get caught in a foot race or get caught out. I don't want any playing. I want the wingers. I know Saka goes narrow, but I want 1v1 demons, guys that can actually beat them and try and overload those sides with Teeny.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I think Smith Rowe gets in.
Yeah, definitely with Emerson, I think we got to get at him early. Whoever's going to be on that side, whether it's Tierney or Pepe or whoever, give it to him in the first 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Let him know
Give it
what
to
this
see what
thing
he's
is
about.
man.
Do you know what I mean? He might not want it on Sunday. So give it to him early. Do you know what I mean? Let's see what he's about and go for him. Do you know what I mean? Reguilon has not really been playing very well for Tottenham as well. Do you know what I mean? So give it to the fullbacks, man. Let's get in amongst them. Let's see what they're about. Do you know what I mean? I don't know who plays up front. I don't know what the personnel is up front. All I keep saying is I want energy.
So do you go Laka or Alba then?
I don't go Laka.
Why not?
Laka. If Odegaard's playing and Smith Rowe or Saka's playing, I think two creators is fine. We don't really need Laka. Laka will drop in, but he's dropping into spaces where I think Odegaard might play.
You don't need to be there anyway.
You don't need to be there. Do you know what I mean? Or it's Smith Rowe. Do you know what I mean? I don't want him getting in the way. We've got players that can do that role. We just need execution up front. Do you know what I mean? As much as I'm not Pepe's biggest fan, put him in the kill zone. He'll take shots. You know what I mean? You know, just get him in the kill zone, get him in the final third, and let him let him get his shots off against these players. You know what I mean? And Aubameyang, obviously, I think Aubameyang's going to be up for it. He's going to be up for it. He's like people have told me he's a peacock. Big game, bare people, full house on Sunday.
Yeah, he loves that.
Do you
He's
know
an
what I mean?
energy man. He's an energy man.
I know. Yeah, I know. Lacazette's had he's got a good record against Tottenham in terms of goals and whatnot. But I just think that right now he's not had any games. Do you know what I mean? He's only played against Division 1 Wimbledon.
Sides, man.
And did you see him the other day? He didn't really favour his scores. He looked disinterested at times, Lacazette. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he did anything to start.
Do you know what it is? I don't doubt his professionalism, but it's like I gotta consider, you've got under a year left. Your manager's not really rating your thing anyways because you're not even getting football. You're not gonna be the most enthusiastic, man. But then again, it might be a point to prove thing. I lean towards Aubameyang just because if I was a centre half, I don't fancy myself in a foot race, man. Lacazette, as you said, he's going to drop. They're going to get higher up the field. Fullbacks can get higher because they might go, oh, there's a defender, there's a midfielder there. I can venture forward. I just think with Aubameyang, you have to respect that pace. Like if you look over on your shoulder and you can't see Aubameyang, you're in problems. And I think we've got to keep that sort of aspect.
Exactly that. I 100%. You said it. What do you want me to say? I can't add to that.
All right, cool. So to wrap this up, last sort of thing,
yeah.
Arsenal Spurs in depth now. What's all your thoughts? Give it to me, man. Everything that you're thinking in relation to Arsenal Spurs, any ramifications for Arteta, what you want to see, so how you feel going into everything, man.
We can't lose that game. For our sake, for Arteta's sake, for the season's sake, we cannot lose that game. If we lose against Tottenham, he's in fans' eyes, he's toast.
He's back to square one, isn't it? You can't be a wounded animal in Spurs.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, whatever the club says, I don't know, but in the fans' eyes, he's toast. I think for Tottenham are vulnerable.
Facts.
I'm not sure about Nuno Espirito Santos. I don't know what kind of system he's. I think he's trying to play forward at the back. He's trying to change. I think he's trying to go away from. I think he's trying to go away from whatever he was known as at Wolves. You know what I mean? I think he's trying to do something new, trying to be a bit more
expansive, isn't it?
Yeah, expansive and progressive. They're at a point where they're not sure what they are. I think this is as good a time to play them as any. I think we've got it in us. I think it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tricky game, but I think we've got to come out of a win. We've got to come out of a win. You know, a draw. You know, but we've got to come out of a win, D.
I see
what about you?
I see where you're at, man. Like a
Yeah.
draw, I mean, we live to fight another day. It's not a loss. We can say, it's 2 wins and a draw against Spurs. We'll move. But like you said, I think form goes out the window to a degree. And that
Yeah.
kind of makes me a bit scared of Spurs because they've been a bit woeful. And just based off not the fans, but the sentiment is like Arsenal's in a great position and Spurs aren't. We're both the same mess.
We're
Just
both the
different
same.
toilets. It's
We're
different
both the
toilets,
same.
same shit, different toilets, in my opinion. Honestly, like we're both everything you say about Spurs, you're saying about us, isn't it? It's tired.
Yeah, true.
It's tired.
It's true, bro.
Right.
It is
So
true.
I'm shook, fam. I'm shook, but I need to win. Like you said, if you can't, and that's it, like kind of what you said, we're fans, we're not footballers. So you lot
Yeah.
are ballers. If you can't be cerebral and think, from Monday to Friday, I'm going into that game. Them man are soft. They're wounded. Let me win. If you can't win against them, then I don't know if you can weather this period because you've seen October fixtures all the way to
Yeah,
the
I
end
was
of the
going to
year.
say.
It's not nice, fam.
It's not like, and the thing is, let's just carry on the momentum. We've won 2 or 3 in the bounce now. 3 in the bounce, isn't it?
Yeah,
3 in the bounce now. Carry on that momentum, that feel good factor. Get everybody. I mean, everyone's thinking as one. I think for me, Arteta he's been sounding really positive about where things are and where things are going with the squad right now. Do you know what I mean? He's
Sounds like he's in a better mental state as
he's
well.
in a better mental state. Do you know what I mean? So we, get a win here, then go to Brighton. We got Palace after that, and then Villa at home. Do you know what I mean? Let's carry on that momentum. We need to, we need to get something out of this game. We need to win, man. Do you know what I mean? It's a big game.
That's like you said, man, and that's everything. Like it sounds cliche, but it's Arsenal Spurs. You don't need anything, and for the players, the Lokongas and all these guys that are new, know what you're stepping into. I already know you know what you're doing because Lokonga's impressed me in that regard. So he's saying for score prediction. Go on.
I was going to say, do you think Harry Kane's going to score?
Yeah, man. That's a given, bro. Death taxes and Harry Kane scoring against Arsenal. Son's diving in the box, VAR, Kane pen. There's some things we know that's happening, man. We know Kane's scoring. That's one thing I'll be amazed by if Harry Kane doesn't score. He gets off for the season against us and normal service is resumed against everyone else, man. He's definitely scoring. It's just what happens, man. See, regardless, it's just what happens, man. I just think the footballing gods have said that's happening. It's like when Ronaldo played his first United game, you knew he's scoring on that return.
Yeah. So who you got in your team then?
What, the whole 11?
Yeah, or what's your setup and what? I don't really go for 4-2-3-1, 4-3. I don't know what the formation is going to be, but I know there's something that a lot of people do. So, what's your thoughts on it? Let me get your thoughts, D.
I know the players that would be playing. Ramsdale, like you said, you don't play the whole defense. I'm not playing about with no one there. Midfield, I can't lie. I want Smith Rowe to play, but I'm prepared for Smith Rowe to come off the bench if he goes with Lokonga, Partey, and Odegaard. I think that gives me, you're able to press, you move the ball quickly. Odegaard presses from the front. You know already how it's set. The wings, Saka, Pepe, probably I'm going to lean to that. I want Saka to move back over to the right-hand side, at least while his form is up and down. Pepe, like we explained, 1v1, just try and have a go. And I'll probably lean in towards Aubameyang. I don't think there's any logical reason for me to say Aubameyang over Lacazette because form doesn't necessarily suggest it. But I just feel like you said, he's an energy man. He's the captain. I don't want to, it don't look good in it. Second North London derby at home in a year, you're dropped. Obviously, if he's not the best player, it is, it is what it is. I think one thing I would have loved to have done, I would have loved going into this game with potentially playing Martinelli, but he's not going to get a look in, and he ain't had a run of games. I don't think it's one of those things because I did think Arteta kind of alluded to that. He said something along the lines of, ideally, you want to use the ones that are got a bit of minutes in their legs. But I don't know if he's just saying that because it's true, or you never, these little games, you want to kind of sell dreams because you don't want the manager to get the upper hand and know what you're doing. So I'd say them individuals, but for me, I'd say the pivot is Partey and Lokonga for me. Let's just match them in it. Like that Xhaka Partey is too hit and miss, and it might hit, but it might miss. I just feel a bit more confident with those two, like big bro, little bro in the midfield. They understand each other a bit more, man.
And also, if it doesn't work, you can bring on Xhaka because he's a known quality and quantity in terms of what he's going to do. So if it doesn't work with Partey and Sambi, change it up with Xhaka, do you know what I mean? Or whoever, do you know what I mean? So it's not only about the first 11, it's a squad, innit? And so
that's
it's not
the thing. Like if we draw, a lot of people were saying Aubameyang, Lacazette, and I'm not on it because I just said, like we both said, it unbalances our team. But you can't really, you don't want to show your whole hand because if you do that, then you don't really have much off the bench. Yeah, you might have the 2 A-lens strikers or a Martinelli, or someone might miss out, but we're kind of weak off the bench, and I think Spurs are as well. So I want the game plan to kind of be spot on. What I want is a fast start. I don't want us to go back to type where we'll grow into the game, but the first 10 minutes is where we lost it or some ish like that.
If you know what, before Man City scored their first goal, that's 7 minutes. If we could replicate that 7 minutes over 90,
Best
that would have
7 minutes
been
in the
great.
world.
Do you know what I mean?
That
Because
was a
up until
madness.
that point, we were controlling, we were looking good, we were looking bright, we
fighting.
were, yeah, I mean, we were putting patterns together. It was good. So it's a matter of, do you know what I mean, holding that form throughout the 90, and also just sort of, you're going to go for periods of adversity through the game. The game's
This
going
is
to
it.
change,
This is it.
different game states, different situations. You're going to have periods where you're on top, they're on top. We just got to match them up. And like you say, if we've got players with energy, that are ready that are going to be aggressive, and you know what I mean, and match them up one for one. We've got a chance. We've got a
That's it.
chance. Do
This
you know
is
what I
it.
mean?
Because for me, I don't want
So
to do the Smith. Because for me, the Smith Rowe and Odegaard thing, I'm on it, but it's like I can just see suddenly if you do that, then we're too narrow. I'm very scared about us being too narrow. Like you said, with the energy, I think the 12th man will match that. We'll have, people will try their best Flamini impressions and just be flying into tackles. That's what we got to do, man. Like, you're right, man. It's the first 10 minutes that is, for me, just set the tempo, fam.
set
Just set it.
the plate, set the
Build them
tempo.
off. Catch them cold.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. 100%.
No, it's crazy. But yeah, man, to wrap this up, again, score predictions. I'm going to go with a 2-1, man. I think Kane, like I said, Son dives, Kane scores. We'll go behind. Aubameyang with the winner. God knows who scores the equalizer. But yeah, 2-1 Arsenal, bro.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 1-0 Arsenal.
Oh, he's carrying on the same theme of what's been happening. Fair play. What gives you, what's the insight into why you're going with 1-0?
I think we'll stand up to them in defence. I think we'll find out in defensively. I just don't think we've got enough to score 2 goals. I haven't seen really anything to suggest that we can score any more than 1 goal.
To be
so
fair,
far,
you're making me want to change it. I might have to change mine to 1-0 because 2, yeah, that's right. I can't see who's if Aubameyang scores. I can't. Maybe a dodgy penalty hits. I mean, a corner hits someone's ear and goes in or something, man.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about us. In the final third. I think if we can snatch a goal, we can manage the game. But yeah, my worry is with Harry Kane. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-0.
I'm
going to
sure.
go 1-0.
In fact, proper last question, yeah. Where does, obviously, I don't want to speak negativity into existence. Ideally, we win, but provided we lose, where does Arteta go from there? Like, because it's suddenly, how fans are. It don't matter that you won these 3 games now.
Like
It
I
means
said,
they're full.
I think in terms of the fans' eyes, or from the ones that I know, he's toast. But the club seem to be they're giving us the impression that they're oblivious to what's going on outside of Highbury House. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
How do you actually feel? Proper last thing. How do you feel on that? Because obviously I've never actually got your opinions. How do you feel on that whole Edu and Arteta that week where they were talking and all the stuff they were going on?
yeah. Hold on. Just give me 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. Go away. I'm on the phone.
Oh man. Oh, you gotta love kids, man.
You know what? Yeah. I'm not convinced about Edu. I think he spoke really well. Just after the transfer window closed, and he explained the strategy. Yeah, he explained the strategy and the philosophy. But I'm not 100% convinced on him. I didn't like the stuff that was coming out in the press or in social media in the summer. I just think that you're a technical director. You're the only technical director that I've seen smoking cigars and on beaches and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has a holiday.
Maybe he knew the job was done, to be fair, from then.
Everybody has a holiday. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Daniel Levy and these players, this guy and that guy, but you didn't see any other guys in that position. Do you know what I mean?
Jeez, still, you're right.
Doing the things that he was. So it just gives optically a bad impression that, right, what are you doing? Okay, the summer turned out better than we expected. But I'm yet to be convinced. I don't think
Facts.
he's not convinced. I want Arteta to succeed. And I really want to believe in trust the process. But I can't argue with people that are against it, that are tired by it. Do you know what I mean? Or tired of it and want him out, because he's not really shown. Since we've come off the FA Cup run, he's not really shown anything. Do you know what I mean? He's not really shown us convinced. He's not really convinced us. Yeah, he's not really convinced us that he's the man to do the job. But I so want him to succeed. I so want him to succeed.
So do I, man.
That's how I see it. But I'm not convinced. I can't argue against those that want him out, because what evidence have I got to say, nah, give him till Christmas or give him till the end of the season? There's no, I can't. I've got no case to stand.
I feel exactly like you. I think, I'm no Arteta apologist. I back my club, but I'm not saying this to say don't sack him, but I want it to go right. I want everything to work. I want my manager to go well. That doesn't mean I have to condone everything. There's still question marks. But for me, the patience was run out. I just think there's been too much of a lax approach. And I keep hearing things like time. I get it. We need time. But I genuinely feel that lax approach is with these players. That's why there's no sense of urgency on the football field.
Yeah.
And that's why Arteta is in positions where, fair enough, things go wrong. You would have been a genius if what I'm about to say worked, but you're going into a semi-final against Villarreal. You need Europe. You're going with Smith Rowe. He's never played there before as a false nine. You mentioned Pepe could play that at the start. If you wanted to do that sort of foolishness, you'd have done a Pepe thing.
Yeah.
So when I see things like that, that doesn't give me the vibe that there's that healthy sort of pressure. We're either too laxed or we're too on it. I think I'm very disappointed in Edu just as much as Arteta, if not more, because like you, don't really understand what's going on. Sometimes I feel he doesn't necessarily speak well. Obviously, I'm onto him about the William thing. One thing that annoyed me as well is like when he first came and we was going to Dubai and things like that, he kept saying things like, I like to travel with the team. I like to do this. I like to feel the emotions. Now, I want to be wary of comparing us to Bayern Munich. We all know it didn't work for Gazidis, but I was getting the Bayern Munich vibe because you always see their directors and their people them traveling with the team, and it's like you've just frauded me, Edu. It's like, again, this is as much your team as it is Arteta's now. So it's like, who do I blame if these? I want it to work, but when Ramsdale and these guys look shaky, if they look shaky, whose fault is that? Because on one hand, I could say we have seen incidences. A technical director will overrule a manager, but it gets the vibe that you listen to Arteta. So who do I get at? Because it seems like you've done your job, but at the same time, I still think we've got more L's than W's. So I'm still kind of on to you, really and truly.
Yeah. They're peas in the pod. If Arteta fails, he's failed. Do you know what I mean? That's how I see it, because you've aligned yourselves. You got once the cat was out the bag for Raul, you quickly aligned yourself with Arteta, and then 2-2, you're making him manager. Do you know what I mean? You're going on like you and him on the same plane. Do you know what I mean? So okay, fine.
That's your dog. That's your dog, innit?
That's your dog, innit? But this is your. I see the way he's building the blocks now. This is his philosophy. Do you know what I mean? And obviously Arteta feeds into it. He obviously believes in it as well. But if once the manager goes, that philosophy, that structure, that culture has to stay in place regardless of the manager.
Tall, yeah.
And that is your vision. That's your vision as technical director, Edu. So it's on you ultimately.
And why I don't trust him even more is like the same things as Arteta. One thing that I can't understand, both of you are midfielders. We should have the midfield should be spot on. There shouldn't be question marks. So that's where I've got a bit of pressure on you lot as well, because I don't get it what you lot are doing.
Really? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there's loads of questions and there's not enough time. We can't go through. I don't think Arteta survives another. Was it 10 games last season? That one was it 1 win in 10?
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, he should be on borrowed time from that November period.
Yeah,
really.
He can't. I don't see him going through another period like that and still being in a job.
Do you see them having a succession plan? Because that's what scares me. It's like, have you got a list of Joe Bloggs, Michael Smith? These are the guys I might shout to do the same, that are of the same cut as Arteta, but obviously able to pick up where he left off. I don't know.
We don't know because he didn't choose Arteta.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know what kind of manager he has in mind. And that remains to be seen. I don't know. That is a crystal ball I cannot predict.
So true.
Do you know what I mean? But I'm hoping that he's given me some encouragement in terms of the players that he wants to bring, that he's brought in, the profile of players that he brought in. I want to see what the playing philosophy is. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure that him and Arteta's philosophies or minds are aligned. So I imagine that if he wants to play Juega, whatever they call it, he's going to go for a manager a bit more experienced who knows how to do it. Whether it's Potter or I like the Zerbi or do you know what I mean? There's loads of players. There's a guy at Ajax who's doing. You know what I mean? Ajax are known for. You know what I mean? That's the temple of
that sort of ball.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Total football and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? So there's guy. Enough people can come out with names. There's enough people that can come out with names. It's whether are you capable of picking the right one? Do you know what I mean? do they fit with your philosophy? What is your philosophy? Do you know what I mean? That's how I see it.
And then it's like the same token of that coin for me. It's like I think everybody will listen to Arsenal. Obviously, we're not going to get the Contes, but I think if you ring these guys, they will listen. It's Arsenal. They will come cool and they'll pick up the phone. I just think when you get past the prestige of the club and all that sort of waffle, you get down to the nuts and bolts. What's the job title? What's my actual duties? What do you want me to do? How much money is available? And what are we doing? And I think he bottles it, bro. I think he bottles it.
Yeah. Tell me something.
Go on.
If he gets rid of Arteta, do you think he goes with a totally different type of manager? Because people are saying that Conte's still available. Conte isn't Juega the position or whatever. I keep saying Juega the because I think I've just got it in my mind. That's what people
I see
think that we're
crap on
doing.
Twitter as well. The
Do you know
time.
what I mean? Do you think he goes with someone like Conte who's just, do you know what I mean?
I think he's a nightmare. I don't think he would. No, I don't think he would because I can't lie. I mean, if I'm Conte, I don't want to be condescending, but Edu's a little man to me if I'm Conte. He's like, bro, you ain't. What can you tell me? Just when I tell you do something, go do it in it. And I don't think he wants that. I don't think the board want that. Like, these men that are there right now, they're not causing the board too many problems. Like, it's the core little workhouse and stuff. Conte's shown he'll bust out. Man won the first Italian title in God knows how long away from Juventus. The minute they were moving shaky, like we can't improve, safe, I'm gone. So when you're telling him, I can't have this, I can't have that. And obviously, me and you have spent a good hour waffling about the back five. What if he comes in and says, fuck Aaron Ramsdale, fuck Ben White? Exactly. I don't want these guys. You're going to tell him, well, that's 50 million down the drain. You can't have this. It's dead. And I think it's just not worth it. It's not worth putting your reputation on the line because them man are not going to back you. It's mad, fam. He's a little. No, I'm not even trying to get onto Edu, but it's like any other job. You can't tell, man. You ain't. Bro, I've been in this thing more times than you. You can't tell me nothing. What can you tell me about technical director? Like I've worked with all them Juventus dons, and you're gonna tell me no, it's not gonna bang. It's two different dons. Obviously, in the real life, it might be different, but no, man. I don't think he goes for Conte. And the wages you're gonna have to give a man.
Yeah. You make fair points, man. He's won it at Juventus. He's won it. Come to Chelsea. He's won it at Inter Milan.
Inter Milan. About Chelsea as well.
Man walked out with Inter Milan with all the. Yeah, I mean, you know, he took the title off of Juventus for Inter Milan. Then he walked away.
This is it. What could Arsenal tell him? Realistically, tell me to say, what could you tell him? Like you're telling me I have to use Lacazette or I have to do this safe. I'm gone, like safe. Well, I'll leave quicker than I came in. Like I'll just get the train stations right next to the Emirates. I'm gone. Like it's right there, bro. It's all Piccadilly line as well, bro. Heathrow's there. Like I'm gone. Like he's skating, cuz it's peak for us. Like it's all mad.
So what do you think? So he could be another kind of positional play manager, you reckon they'll bring in?
One of these new dons, man. These new guys that ain't been like in the game for 10 years. These guys that wear these tracksuits and the tight tracksuits and the new boots and the stylish, and it's them sort of managers we're going for, man. Like unless Conke was to leave and we was to say, all right, winning thing, then I can't see these sort of names. At best, I might hope for a Gasperini who might be experienced but plays that sort of football, which I don't know if he's on leaving it. Yeah, I don't know if he leaves Italy and anything to go off that. He just popped in my head. So I think, like my man said here, I think it's dream chasing, but that would probably be the ideal sort of profile they probably want. Them Nagelsmann sort of man or their own Tuchel. But where do you get them, man? That's the thing. Like they just pop up, really. And that's the thing for me. It's like obviously Arteta every couple of weeks. There's mad pressure on his future. The odds in the bookie start getting slashed. It's like, do you have succession planning, or is it just we're so in love with Arteta and what we're doing? There's an issue that we're not planning. It's like if Arteta leaves tomorrow, who comes in? And I don't know. If Chelsea was in this scenario, they might not a man tomorrow, but calls are being made, meetings are being done. I don't know.
Marina's on the blower. She's on it. She's on it.
We're not on that. So we just go through the same old things, the same old names. Like it's mad, Graham Potter. I wouldn't mind him. I'm not convinced. I'm like 80% convinced. There's that 20% of I don't know why I'm reluctant for him.
I think he works within a framework. And you can see that he's ready. For me, he feels like he's ready to go into the next stage of development. Whether he's good enough, or he can mold a team to get us back into the top four. That is a big question. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? You've seen, okay, let's take Gasperini for instance. He's worked on a small budget. They're very creative in the players that they sign. They go for and they sign. He's a player developer. You know what I mean? And he's got them punching. Do you know what I mean? So you can say Gasperini would be a good fit. He plays good football, player developer, punching.
Like Potter, yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
overperforms, maximizes the
Yeah.
squad. Because that's
Yeah.
one thing I couldn't say for Arteta. As much
Mm.
as I might think all these other centre backs were tired and not good and whatnot, I couldn't say you're maximizing your defense or your attack to the point with, all right, cool, give him better tools, you'll get a better song. I couldn't say that. I was just using logic, like we just know
Yeah.
these men are not levels.
Yeah. And that's and the thing is, when I talk about player development and player development and sorry, man.
Don't worry, man. Daddy be off soon, man. He's off soon. He's off soon right after.
When I talk about player development and maximizing the most of, I mean, I think Potter is doing it because he is a process man. Because when you listen to him, you can tell, and you watch him, you can tell that at a certain point in the season, the results weren't coming, but the performances were there. They were outplaying, man. They were banging in shots. The XG was ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Getting shagged, yeah.
They were just getting shit because they didn't have a striker. Do you know what I mean? So you can tell that they were missing just a element. There was, you know what I mean? There was an element that he was missing, and once they get that element, they could go up a level. Do you know what I mean? That's why I like him because, you know what I mean? He's got a system. He's got a way of playing. The performances made you believe that the results were not reflective of where they should be. Do you know what I mean? The X results weren't matching the performances. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? So that's why I think he can go on to another level. But yeah, Gasperini has shown time and time again that he can battle with the big boys, and you know what I mean? They're top four. They're top four. They've crashed into their top four.
I've just been robbed so much of decent football that I'm even on taking Sarri if he ever wants to leave Lazio. Like, if he ever wants it, I've just been so. I'd rather just a man like Wenger who's just, they're wrong and strong now. I know it's wrong, but I just can't take the football like we saw under Emre and we see under Arteta.
You just want to be entertained.
Yeah, man. Like,
you
if we're
want
not
to be
going to win
entertained
titles, if we we know we're not. If you're not on winning titles, just tell me and just play decent football. Let man enjoy what you're going to do.
You
ride the highs and lows of being a football fan. Don't tell me you want to get Europe because you don't. Like, when you don't clearly want to get Europe like this season, when you've got these inconsistencies, whether you're paying or watching it on TV or whatever, bro, it's not inspiring, man. Like, we waffle about Arsenal from Monday to Friday as much as we say we don't care, and then we see this tosh, man. Like, with respect to El Nene and Xhaka, I'm not trying to see these sort of guys in the team anymore. Like, I want ballers, man. I can't take this image anymore.
Would you say that Arteta is not a player? Which players do you think Arteta has developed?
I don't think anybody's evident. I think there's been ironically, I think there's been a tune out of Xhaka as much as, certain things are still there. I think, Xhaka doesn't look as exposed. He looks a bit more all-rounded and things. I think there was a point with Rob Holding. I think there is a point with Chambers, but then again, it's clutching at straws. I don't think there's anyone I look at and I say, you're significantly better now. You've improved, at least off the top of my head. Really. Like, there's been little moments. Even Bellerin, there was 1-2 moments, but I can't really say there's a player that you've taken and there's a spark now. Like, obviously Rudiger's different, but Rudiger looked like he was past it under Lampard. He looked like probably the best defender or one of the best in the league under his new gaffer. So I don't know, man. But everybody, like my man said, bare man have regressed though. Like, you're the first gaffer that's come here. Aubameyang's looking shaky. Like, as much as I criticize Emre, Aubameyang was scoring goals. Do you know how hard you have to try to make a man like that not score goals? So what's going on? It's scary, bro. Like, what's going on? Like, oh man, what about you? Like, do you see anyone?
When I think about it, because the question just popped into my head: who has he developed? Who can I say that has developed, gone on from one step to another? I think Saka and ASR have done well, but they've done well in everything but production in terms of goals and assists.
That's what I think. Said. So it's like it's a no from me.
Yeah. I can't. I mean, Partey hasn't been around. He's not fit enough, long enough for me to know whether he's developing or not. I
can't give him Gabriel because I'm sure last season there was a point where I don't know why. I think he had COVID or he might have had an injury or just a bad game. But you just rubbed him out, like you just.
And Twitter was after Gabriel last season.
This is it. But I don't
people were going after him.
Said Marie's better. Like, they smoke.
Do you know what I mean?
Stuff, man.
It was peak. It really was. I'm trying to think. I want to try. You know what? I'm trying to go against you, D. But
I tried to go against myself. I didn't want to say it, but it's like I just see guys are good for 5 or so games, and then it's back to the tie. Even though then they look a different man at one point last season. There was a point fans wanted him to sign a new deal. I think them times we beat United away. Yeah, even Lacazette, they got on to Lacazette when we played Aston Villa away, and then he had a strong finish. You know, it's not. Oh, do you know what? Funny enough, I give him Pepe. You know, fair play. I give him Pepe, only cause not in goals.
Oh yeah.
I give him Pepe because
yeah.
I see a different Pepe now. He's on defending. He's on all of that sort of stuff now. He's in the game now a bit more. I
You
give
know
him
what?
Pepe.
Yeah, you know what? I saw his shot locations recreations thing. Somebody did a map of his final season at Lille, then his seasons at Arsenal. He was, his shots to goals was really good. Ratio was really good, and then he got to Arsenal under Emery, and then it kind of went a bit. Then it went last season. It went no, the season before last. It went downhill under when Arteta come in. Then last season it started to go back up on the upward trend. Do you know what I mean? Like he wasn't taking as many shots, but he was more clinical. So he was getting back to Lille levels. So you could say, even though it goes against common
Logic and that.
analysis or common, you know what I mean, common consensus, he was actually becoming a bit more clinical at the end of last season.
I mean, he would. I'll give him that.
So
Like he made Pepe look a bit more all-rounded. Really, Pepe saved his bacon a couple times. I think.
yeah. So and it kind of goes against just common logic because everybody thinks that Pepe hasn't progressed.
Hasn't progressed.
But
Yeah, he hasn't really. But I mean, you can't argue with what we're seeing. Like I just don't. It's a bit like Lacazette. Like we've clearly overpaid. Whether we hit the variables or not, we've overpaid. He's a £40 million player. But I do think there's a tune to get out of him. I think there's a lot of things he needs to address personally. But I just look at Arteta and I think you've got a tune out of him, but you don't help any of your players. It's like he doesn't understand this. Like a man like Pepe is gonna thrive with now you've got it, but a fullback that can help him out. Odegaard is gonna thrive with movement. Aubameyang is gonna thrive with service. The service can only happen if you get the midfield spot on. It's like you don't understand fitting pieces to a puzzle. I don't doubt that he can plan for something in a week. He can come with a game plan, but that little added touch with developing players and them sort of things, I don't think he has that. And I find myself, I don't know what it is. It's like I always find even it goes down to what you asked me earlier about his style of play. It's like where am I getting this that you play attacking football? It's like the Pep and the Wenger thing. How do I know you're not on a David Moyes thing? How do I know how do I know you care about any of that Wenger thing? I'm just assuming because you was working with them. How many of us have worked at jobs and we don't have the same ways of working practices as our employers and whatnot. So I don't know. There's in an unhealthy way. There's a lot I don't know about Arteta, and it scares me because you've been here 2 years. Man should be able to answer these things.
But on the flip side of that, this is the first summer where he's got players that he probably because he really lobbied for Ramsdale.
That, to be fair, he has. I heard Eddie wanted Neto on the Athletic.
Yeah,
so I respect that. I rather that.
And he seems to really. I mean, it was a late change, of course, but he likes Tomiyasu. He was in constant contact with company for Lokonga.
I like that as well. That's fair play.
Odegaard, he wanted Odegaard back when everybody else was saying Maddison. He was the one saying, "No, I want Odegaard." So hopefully, this crop of players that he's got now, he can develop because this is the first time I'm saying like this is the players that you wanted. This is the players that you've got. They've facilitated the players that you've wanted. You've got. I want to see development and progress with the players and the team. I want to see that you can take them up a next level in performances. Even if the results are a bit shaky, I want to see performances that take us on an upward trajectory. At the moment, I haven't seen it.
That's all I'm asking for, bro. Because like you said with Graham Potter, you put yourself in the fan mind now. Logically, if you're at the game, you're losing. Obviously, L's are L's. No one wants to lose. But I can see building blocks. Typically, Arsenal. Yeah, I cut out. But Arsenal are losing games. We're looking inconsistent. Couple man are on it. Couple man are not. Certain players are on it this game. They're not. There's not a single thing to back you with. And it's like what you're saying is that I like what you said earlier in that you want him to do well. But if a man comes and says, "No, F Arteta, this and that," you can't really. You can try reason with him, but you can't defend the undefendable. There's nothing really to defend him with. I just feel a bit like Xhaka in midfield. I don't think you could explain what you can't explain these things to a child. I think you've got to do this whole heat maps and all these diagonal arrows and stuff to explain certain things. And if you got to do that, then it's not ball, is it? Like, man, you should be able to just see, Thomas Tuchel counter attack
with your eyes. Yeah,
exactly. It's an eyes thing. It's not, and this is where with the Twitters and expected goals and these things, people don't know what they're looking for, so they're just rambling with nonsense. And I just feel if you can't explain Arteta's thing to a child or someone that doesn't care about football and show them one game pre-Arteta and the next one, then what is it then really? Like, because all I heard was, and I'm sure you saw it as well when he came, diaphragms on his wall, this and that. Like, bro, when I'm hearing all of this, then come on, like, don't take a blind man to know Xhaka in midfield. You got to sort out that defense. Aubameyang needs service. Then I have to ask myself, are you doing the right things? It's like a you at school that's got all the fancy pens, but he can't draw and his handwriting shit. Like, then there's no point in it. Like, it's dead, bro. Like,
truly, bro.
I want him to do well, like you said, but I love my club more. It's just
exactly 100%. That's it. I want him to do well, but I love my club more.
And that's it, fam. Like, so how long? Last question for True. I want to let you get back to your kids. How long's a piece of string for Arteta then? Like, obviously, if we carry this on, then his job's there. But how long before you think we could get the clip?
I don't want to end this on a negative note or whatever. Let me just say this first. I think when's the next international break? It's coming soon in October, isn't it? If we don't beat Tottenham and we lose to who we got? We got Palace. We got somebody.
Brighton.
Brighton, Palace.
I think Brighton next. Palace. I know we got Leicester. Villa. I don't know really for it.
I think Villa's next after Palace. If those 4 games are a washout, things go left, there's going to be real pressure on the hierarchy to do something by the international break.
Do you think
there's going to be real pressure?
Do you think, like, obviously I don't want it to happen, but do you think they would pull it? Do you think they would pull the plug during or after, straight after the international break, or are they going to keep trying to persist it because they keep saying it's a young squad and all? There's been a turnover of X amount of players. Like, I guess the real last question is like, do you think they're as close to? Do you feel they feel the same way we do? Because they're educating. I don't get it. It don't feel like there's pressure.
I don't think there is. I don't think they feel the same way as fans at all. And I don't know what they're seeing behind the scenes. We don't know what they're seeing. We'll never know what they're seeing behind the scenes. But there's something that they're seeing or being told by Garlic, who's just come in, and Tim Lewis, who's the eyes and ears of these guys of SK. They're being shown something that makes them believe. You know what? This management team are doing. They just need a little bit more time. It's going well. They're seeing some kind of performances. When you do your 1-to-1 or your PDR or whatever with your line manager, the results aren't looking good, but there's some methodology they must be doing at the hierarchy. Like, you know what?
I like this, bro. Yeah.
I like this, bro. He's going to do things. He just needs a little bit more time. Do you know what I mean? But like you say, if Stan Kroenke gets kicked out and then we get a more ruthless owner,
you'd have been gone. You'd have been gone yesterday. In fact, yesterday. Because again,
you get me.
Other managers don't survive that November. Like, I don't think it was right to keep Emre, but I feel sorry for Emre in the regards that he got killed for some of these things, both by the fan base and the club, that Arteta gets excuses cut for him and brushed under the carpet. Like, and I don't get it, because surely you should have more excuses for a man that has been round the block per se than someone who hasn't. And it goes back to the propaganda pieces of how good he's going to be as a gaffer, how he worked with these young players and all these things he's done prior to being here.
Well, you look at Chelsea, innit? They're a case in point. They had Lampard. They installed Lampard with no money. They had an embargo. They were saying, like, Lampard, just use the youths, innit, and do what you can. Yeah. And then once they gave him money, they gave him 250 million. Yeah, it was a different thing, innit? They didn't waste time. Right, top four's looking kind of shaky. He's looking kind of long right now, and then they just brought in Tuchel
quickly. And now look, that wasn't a bad decision, was it? Like,
that's it. Straight. They're very much a results and silverware club. Do you know what I mean? That comes from the top. Right at the top, and it goes all the way down. If it was all the way down, there's no sentiment. as far as they're concerned. Whereas with our lot, it's a different. I don't know what they're seeing. They're seeing something.
That's
They're
the
seeing
thing,
something
man.
in Adu and Arteta, and they're like, you know what? Despite what the fans are saying, despite what the press are saying, I feel it in my blood. I feel
And
it in my
apart,
water. Something's gonna happen.
I said waters. Do you know? I said waters. Do you know what it is for me? It's like it just feels like couple man are on keeping Arteta, a couple man want him to go. We always get that sort of thing at our club. We're never, like you said, on the same page. Like you said, Chelsea sing from the same hymn
Mm,
sheet. You're getting clipped. Just even clubs below us show more
mm,
ruthlessness. It's just like, and cut excuses for the right reasons.
mm,
Like he's not done nothing for
mm.
excuses.
Let me ask you this then, yeah? We
Go on.
beat Tottenham. Apparently, we go above them, right?
Yeah.
That's what people are saying, isn't it? And then he goes on a little run. He beats Brighton. He beats Palace. He beats Villa. 4 game, and so that's 7 games undefeated of and how many ever points we've picked up. Do you think people should lay off of him and like
I
what?
mean,
Let's see how things go for the rest
I
of the
mean, he
season.
would
He's
earn that
shown us.
right. I mean, it's a results-driven business, isn't it? And that's where it's down for people to put their agendas down. Like, if you believe in him or not, it's a
Mm,
results-driven business. So if he's winning games and doing all these things, then I
mm,
would get off his back naturally because you're doing
mm,
all right. But I mean, the same question marks for me, regardless. Even if you win the next 5 games, can I see a system of play? Is it because for me, what I don't like is relying on these little, what we was doing last year, these little moments of
mm,
brilliance from Saka and Smith Rowe. As you know,
mm,
it's not sustainable and you run people into
mm.
the ground. So if we're performing and doing all the things we want to see, then, well, you keep your job in it. Simple as that. It's like any other job.
All
You do
right.
your job well, can't get
Okay.
clipped.
Let's say over the next 4 games, it's 1 win and 3 draws, but the performances are getting better. Do you then
What
back him?
define getting better though? Like define
Like
getting
you're
better.
seeing a pattern of play, you're seeing patterns of play emerging. We're looking a bit more. It's just bad luck that we're not scoring. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Then
but
I'll
the,
allow
the,
him.
the
Like
actual you allow
then
him,
I'll allow
even
him.
though one
Then I'll
win
allow him.
and 3 draws. So that's what 6 points out of a maximum 12.
I mean, the way you put it, it sounds mad. And again, sackable offense. Like if he gets sacked, I'm not gonna cry. But again, if I see what I want to see from the team, like the tip you was kind of on with Graham Potter, then you can keep
Mm,
your job. For me, you can keep your job. Obviously,
mm,
you keep pissing about, then you have to go. But I'd rather that
mm,
because I've seen the flip token of that. You know, one
mm,
one of my toughest times on YouTube was when Emre was going on his unbeaten thing. Purely because I'm
mm,
watching it on TV, I'm at the games, and I'm seeming like a Scrooge. I'm like, we're not playing well. We're moving kind of dead, because and
mm,
then people are getting onto me. I'm like, this is gonna run out, once upon a
mm,
time. And I used to be the guy when he made the super subs. He's patterned. He's
mm,
doing everything. And then I think it was Cardiff away. I scratched my head when I was watching. I was like, do you know what? Maybe if we keep having to change it at half time, we're moving a bit shaky with what we're doing
mm,
in the start. So it's like
mm,
I need to see the performance in it. If I see the
mm,
performance, then it's a team Arteta thing. If we're scumming it, then nah, man, you gotta go, bro. Like again, like the way you put it, it's mad, like 12
mm,
points and that. But again, if I see what I want to see tactically, then calm in it, because that
mm.
tells me then I can have confidence collectively and individually with what you're doing. So yeah, you
Yeah.
keep your job, but that's a big if, bro.
Yeah.
Massive if from you, still massive if. And I'm not talking, I don't want to just see it one game, cause man seeing these things work for one game. I need to see the same old things. Like man need to
Them
see
ones.
shots, goals,
Mm.
creation. Like, bro, when I see that, you keep your job, Arteta. You could do your thing.
Consistency.
That's
Consistency
it.
is the key.
Like you said, but like my man is saying here, I just don't see it happening. It feels too late, man. But it's never too late to change. Which
Mm.
again, when I see how he's handling Partey, actually Aubameyang playing through the middle now. I see a couple playing Gabriel, not pissing about with changing these sort of things, with the exception of City. It seems like I don't know if he's learned, but there's certain things he's not running this year that he was running last
Mm.
year. So I don't know, bro. If he learns, then you keep your job. If you don't, then boy, like I hope he watched every game from last season and looked at where he went wrong. But I
Mm.
don't know. And it comes back to the pressure. Like how much pressure is on you to do that? How much pressure is on you to show in these next 4 games some sort of system in that? I don't know.
Mm.
Because I don't think there's much, because
They're not.
we went to the Premier League champions with Kolasinac, man. Come on. Like I'm not even saying Kolasinac because he weren't the worst player on the pitch, but he
Mm-mm.
tried to
No,
set
he
up.
wasn't. Yeah.
He's gone
Yeah.
out on loan. What's going on? Like he's
Yeah.
clearly not going to be in your defense long term. Like what happens if he was the worst player on the pitch? Like you played him, innit? Like I've gone past the point of moaning at these players. It was like Willian last year. It's like I'm not even getting at you no more. You're not picking yourself. Like I don't get the vibe it's them or me with Arteta enough. It's like obviously you're my players, but I need 3 points. Like I can't. This ain't a play crest. This ain't school. Not everyone needs to play, bro. Like you earn your spots. So I don't know, man. To answer your question in short, yeah, if he shows that thing, then yeah, you keep your role, bro. If you don't, and we're doing what we're doing, then I'm still with it. I'm where my official position on Arteta. I'm not quite Arteta out. I'm not Arteta in. I'm like, if he goes, I'm not gonna cry. You know, you really shouldn't still be here, but I'm not quite at pitchforks over your future yet. But it could go either way quickly.
Yeah.
So get the results.
Yeah, them ones straight up and down. I'm
Literally,
100% in agreement with you.
Come on, man. But I can't lie, man. Giles, it's been fantastic having you here, fam. You've given me joy.
It's great to get back in the saddle, man. It's been years since I've done one of these things. You know what I mean? And
time has flown like hour and 44 minutes. Man, I've kept you here far too long, brother. Like on a Friday after work and that, but only for the Arsenal.
We got to deal with these kids, bruv. They embarrassing me.
Like no, but I love it, man. I love it. Like the man was saying, great stream, and let them know where they can catch you. I know you're not one for YouTube content and the rest of it. But
yeah, no, just Twitter at Grimondi tweets double S, so you can see on the screen there. Catch me, say hi, just interact, man. I love it.
And he does a good job of factoring other people. Like he does how do I make it make sense for you? Like he gets a lot of the Arsenal news and the talking points and filtering it as well as his own opinions. I'll go on your Twitter a lot to what should I talk about on my video? You're one of them I pre. So make sure you follow guys, man. And he does his thing, man. And obviously he's got fantastic chat, but yeah, man.
Thank you, Tino. Hey, Del, thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure, man. I'm humbled. I'm honored. When you approached me, I was like, you know what, I've got to do this, guys. The first, you know what I mean, got to.
Come on, bro. Whenever you want to come to, you're welcome. You know, just let me know.
About the culture, man. You're about it. You are about the culture, man. You know what I mean? Straight up
anytime,
and down.
bro. Like I told you, I told you on Twitter, and I'll tell you again. Anytime you want to come and chop it up, and you're free, you know, and your kids will let you, bro. It's here, innit? It's here, man. Just a message away, bro.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Minor, man. People were out.